Hey everyone, welcome back. Retro Fun Tech here. So I made a video not too long ago about the 5 ways to play retro games. That was a rough overview to someone who is getting into the retro gaming community on the different ways that they could go about playing their retro games. In that video, I touched on something so briefly that it was almost an afterthought. I mentioned an app called Samsung Dex. So I wanted to make a dedicated video about it. Samsung Dex is an app that allows you to connect your Samsung Galaxy device to your monitor or TV. You can transport your phone's home screen onto your TV or monitor through Samsung Dex. You don't need a PC at all. You can just plug in your phone and you immediately have a desktop where you can use the apps already on your phone. You can use Google Docs or surf the web on any browser. You can watch YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and all the other streaming devices. Pretty much everything that's on your phone. Pretty cool, huh? Well, let's go a little further with it. Let's use Samsung Dex to play some games. So to get started with this, here's what you will need. You will need a Samsung device, either a phone or a tablet. If you are using a phone, Samsung Dex works with Galaxy S8 and above. But to get the best experience, I would use the S10 series and above. I am using a Galaxy S10e that I had laying around. Also, you will need either a USB-C adapter to HDMI or DisplayPort or a USB-C hub. I would recommend getting a USB-C hub. This one is a 9-port hub with a few USB-A ports, HDMI port, DisplayPort, and even 2 SD card readers. The big feature of this hub that I like and would recommend is that it has a charging port in it. So that means you can charge your phone while you have the hub hooked up, because the hub is using your charging port as a video out connection. If you get a hub or an adapter that doesn't have a charging port, just remember that your phone battery will drain quite a bit from Dex. Bluetooth controller. I recommend a Bluetooth controller over a wired controller because depending on the different ways you will be gaming or using Samsung Dex, you may experience issues with your wired controller. But if that's all you have, you can definitely make do. Obviously, if you go the wired route, you will need the USB-C hub, so it has the supporting ports. And these are optional, but I also recommend a wireless mouse and keyboard to make things easier. However, you can just use the phone as a touchpad while it's plugged in. You don't really need these components much after setup, depending on how you're using Samsung Dex. And just to note, if you are using the app RetroArch, it may get a little goofy when you have a controller, mouse, and keyboard all plugged in. I had to disconnect the mouse and keyboard to get it run properly. WebRcade. So I mentioned this in my other video. WebRcade is a fantastic browser-based game feed that you can set up and play without having to worry about loading apps or ROMs from your phone. It works really well with Samsung Dex. My personal use case for this is that I will game at work on my downtime. Oh, come on. Don't pretend like you haven't thought of it. There, I said it. Yes, you can use Samsung Dex and not have to worry about throwing apps or ROMs on your work computer, because we all know that it's locked down and you don't have the admin rights anyway. So yes, I have a monitor at work that is a spare and collecting dust. All of a sudden, it's useful and I can game on it from time to time. Back to WebRcade. This is just a super fun, handy way of gaming. Once you set up your game feed, it's always there waiting for you to enter happy gaming nostalgia land again. So since you are using your phone, you will have access to the Google Play Store. That means you can use a lot of your Android games that are already on your phone. Now, I will mention that not all games are going to work in Samsung Dex mode, or even with a controller for that matter. But I think you will be surprised at how many games do actually work. To give you an initial good start, I have 2 videos that you can reference. Also, I should mention, you may need to resize or close and reopen some games or apps, like you see with Shovel Knight. Most apps will let you resize them, like Vampire Survivors, but Shovel Knight doesn't like resizing. So you might be stuck with a smaller game screen, but hey, it's bigger than your phone screen and you could multitask and open a few things if you wanted to while you are gaming. Now let's get to the retro fun stuff. Retro fun gaming. So here I have a few games that I'm playing through RetroArch. I will caution that RetroArch is a weird little monster. Sometimes it has emotional outbursts and doesn't play with others, like Samsung Dex. I have had to close RetroArch and reboot it, and then it will work. Also, a super cool thing about using your phone, it's crazy powerful. So you can run other apps that maybe your lower end retro handheld can't. or even don't work great on RetroArch. You can download apps like Redream for Sega Dreamcast, Mupen64 for N64, PPSS-PP for PSP, the list goes on. Depending on your phone's specs, you might even be able to get GameCube or PS2 to work. Dreamcast was awesome to play on Samsung Dex. I probably could have changed the resolution and made it full screen, but I didn't monkey around with the settings too much. As usual, PSP is amazing. It's full screen and it just looks fantastic. This is one of my favorite systems to play really on anything that will take a higher end system. And as you can see, look at God of War. Look at that. It's so beautiful. One thing I did notice with Mario Kart Double Dash is there was a little bit of slowdown in the menu, which is typically normal, but the gameplay was phenomenal. I felt like this gameplay was a little laggy, so in my next clip, I changed the resolution down to 2x instead of 3x. The gameplay definitely looks like it's a little bit zippier. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Here's Hades on Steam Link. Now just a side note, unfortunately I don't have Xbox Game Pass, but it does work with Samsung Dex. There are videos out there that have confirmed that it works. The PS Play app is around $5 in the Google Play Store. I have mentioned it briefly before. I recommend this app over the official PlayStation Remote app for two reasons. One, it seems to work better than the official Sony app, and two, you can use a third-party controller to play your games. And it works with both PS4 and PS5 consoles. Super easy to use. So that's going to wrap it up for my overview on using Samsung Dex for gaming. I know this might not appeal to everyone, but who knows? Maybe this is an ideal way of gaming for you or someone you know. There are a lot of cool things that you can do with Samsung Dex. Be sure to like, subscribe, and even share this video. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome, everyone, and go play some games.